Hello, hi everybody. So, this is my first live. It's been a bit of a struggle setting up. And I know people usually wait for people to come in, but honestly, I have been waiting all day to open this set. So I think we're going to get started. This is something that I would normally do by myself, and if I did record it and make it into a video, it would be very like cut down, choppy, and not as authentic as doing a live would be. So I'm gonna just get started here, and if anybody comes later and has any questions, well, put it in the chat. But you won't hear me saying that. This is so weird, having it be live instead of rewindable. Of course, if you're watching this, it's rewindable. Okay. All right. So I am going to be opening this set, and I also already have these two. So I have a little bit of a story about why I'm doing this. I am allergic to mold, and the main paint that I was using that I really liked was Holbein Gouache, and there was some mold in the paint. There was some mold in the tubes, and I don't know if that was user error somehow. They were on clearance. I don't know what happened. I don't want to throw them under the bus, and I don't think having mold in anything is like horrific unless you happen to be allergic to it, which I am. So I am going to be testing out some other brands because I use Holbein, but I'm not a huge fan of it because it just feels kind of stiff compared to the M-Gram. Like, I really liked the M-Gram. I really liked how it moved across the page. I liked using it wet without any water. What do you call that? I was going to almost say wet and wet, like watercolor. But it's not that. It's like, oh, fresh out of the tube, like not adding water. And the reason that's also super important to me is because I typically use watercolor, and when I am using gouache, I get confused very quickly and start thinking that I'm using watercolor, which is kind of funny because originally I used gouache before I ever used watercolor, but once I realized how hard watercolor was, I just started using it more and more and more, and realized that I preferred it, kind of didn't touch the gouache again, and so now when I try to use gouache, it is confusing. I was going to say a bad word, but I can't cut that out, so let's get started here. Oh, the other story about this. So, went to one local art supply store and picked up these, knowing that I would probably go and get a set, because sets are just cheaper overall a lot of the time. Like, you get, like, I think each of these would have been like $8 a tube. Gouache goes pretty fast. Like, if you spend money on a tube of watercolor, that will last you forever. But gouache, especially the way I like to use it, which is kind of heavy, it really makes a difference if you're financially, if you're just like squeezing out a whole tube and using a whole tube, and like some of them are like $20. So if you're doing that, you know, you have to think about it a little differently than I would think about watercolor, whereas cost per tube is a little less important to me. Sorry about this wire. This is hooking up this camera right here, and also sorry for the button. I don't know how to make that not happen. So, picked this up yesterday, picked this up earlier in the week. This I already had when I was trying to find good whites for opaqueness, by the way. I don't think it was that great, so fun unboxing. So all of these colors are series 1 in here. So let me see if I can show closer. This is series 1. Okay, series 3. So it's written here. Let's let's see if it'll, it's harder for me to see from this angle if it's in focus or not. So this is a series 3 color. This is a series 1. This is a series 3. I also want to get a brown, but this this will make a pretty nice brown. This is Perylene Violet. And the only series 3 in here is this one, which is Permanent Green, Middle Bird. I'm starting to read it in Spanish or something. Huh, maybe it's French. Okay. So they're all series 1 except that one. And this is zinc white, and this is permanent white. So that's great because I have 2 different whites. I almost didn't get the big set. I almost got the little one. And then I realized that the only thing, one of the things that I was going to get was Ultramarine. And it was $20 difference between the 2 sets. And I already wanted to get Ultramarine, which would have only made it $10 difference between the sets. So I'm like, let's just go all the way and get a big one, and then we will have more things to compare it to. And if I like it, then I can get more in the future. Okay, so I've made 2 color wheels here, but I'm kind of wanting to maybe mess around first. So I've got the color wheel, and I'm gonna put the Winsor and Newton in one of the color wheels today. May not do this on camera, but I'm also going to do my Holbein. I'm also going to paint this bear. So let's see if it comes up. Yeah, okay. And I'm going to be doing it not from a photo reference, but from a reference from the painting I already did in watercolor, and I've actually already done it in gouache. So this is watercolor, this is gouache with the Holbein. And I'm excited to kind of compare them, but I'm not going to use a reference photo. I'm just going to be looking at this watercolor painting that I did here. And that's going to come later. And for now, mess around and just kind of do a flow test. So let me grab my notes. Where did they go? So here are my notes. And so what I'm looking for is primarily like a positive sensory experience. So I really like it to be very fluid, smooth. I don't want it to be stiff. I don't want it to be chalky. I don't want it to dry chalky. I did a pretty big overview between Holbein and M. Graham and discovered that the Holbein was slightly chalkier when dry, and I want to see what this looks like. But it wasn't in all circumstances, so I think it's not all colors, and I just haven't figured out which colors it's more chalky in yet. And some of the things that are important to me personally are light fastness, opacity, and the opacity particularly in the whites. So I don't mind putting like several layers if I have to, but layers can start to pull up. So what I love about gouache is that you can do dark to light instead of light to dark. And I really find light to dark to be somewhat challenging if I'm having a day where my memory isn't so great. That whole thing is kind of difficult. But if it's on a day that my memory's pretty good, it's fine. I do pretty well with it. That's not always the case. So then we'll check out also what pigments are in each color. I may not do that on camera. That's a little tedious. You can look it up online. You can just check out the set. You can look at the set and then see what the colors are in the set. But for example, Ultramarine, I think, is just one pigment. PB, oh my gosh, the light isn't good enough in here. I'm not in my studio because the Wi-Fi is not good enough. PB29. So I had to move to a place where the lighting's not as great, but I also have a Christmas tree, and I'll get the internet fixed later. So what's great about me reading only whatever I said when I went into the good light, PB29 is a single pigment, which means that when I go to mix it with any other pigment, it's going to be a pretty predictable result. If it has multiple pigments, like this series 3, the only series 3 has like 3 pigments in it, that means that my mixing is not going to be as reliable. I've never actually seen a problem with that, but I've heard of a lot of other people like not liking that, having problems with it. So I've always just kept it in mind that single pigment is better. I've got Magello watercolors just because they were mostly single pigments. And so that's something that matters to me. Light fastness matters. Doesn't matter to everybody. I also got a new mat. So this is a silicone mat right here. So if I'm going to be squeezing the gouache straight out of the tube onto the mat, or sorry, onto, really wish the lighting was better, I'm so sorry. Did not have time to fix it when I was trying to figure out all this tech and setup. I just couldn't get enough lights going on. I could probably turn up the lights in here. So let me do that real quick. I hope that helped. It's more yellow, but it's, you know, because we're doing color stuff, but at least you'll be able to see it. So this mat here is a silicone mat, and I figured that I'll be able to just break off the old gouache and throw it in the trash instead of washing plates off with a lot of water. So I really don't like having to use so much water, but I haven't experimented with this mat yet, so I don't know if that's going to work out like that. So the tests that I'm going to be doing is going to be as water minimal as possible. I'm still going to use water to clean my brushes. Oh my gosh, did I not bring my bag in here? Nope. I'll be right. Here we go. Also, apologies on the sound quality. Wasn't sure my computer could handle too many different input sources. So I was like, you know what? Let's just get what it looks like good, because maybe you don't want to hear me talk anyways. And this is more about like, what are we seeing here? What do the pigments look like? Of course, then maybe I should have done good lighting. But you know what? This is my first live, and just doing my best here. Okay. So I'm going to start with one thing I don't like, so I normally use this for my gouache, and I can put it right here next to hold it up, but this is like stuck down there, down way in the dark, and I'm not that happy about it. So this is flame red. This isn't part of the set. I guess we should do the set first, huh? If you were dying to see flame red, I'm really sorry. Let's start with Spectrum red, and the other red we have is primary red. This is a single pigment, so the primary red is a single pigment, and the spectrum red is multiple pigments. So let's put the primary red down. Let's see what happens. Okay, so first thoughts, it's very thick, which gouache is, and feels a little thicker and clumpier than I've never ever used any Winsor product except for, sorry, I've never used Winsor and Newtons Gouache except for this one a very long time ago. I don't remember. Okay. I feel like it feels like it has a lot of gum arabic in it. By the way, I'm only going to be on here an hour, so that list of things that I said I'd do, it's just whatever gets done in an hour. It's more aspirational than actual promise. Guess I should have said that at the beginning. Okay, so that was our primary red. As far as I can tell in this kind of wonky lighting, it's just a very kind of cherry red. Okay, this one seems a lot more watery. This is I should be labeling them too. Wow. I feel like it's smooth, but it's not going that far, which is surprising to me. So let me get a Holbein red. This is Carmin, just so I can like compare the two. Because I feel like these are a lot less liquidy. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so this is okay. I'm not seeing. Are you kidding me? Maybe I just didn't try hard enough to pull it across. I haven't watched a lot of reviews on these. Just one person who kind of said the opposite of these two. I feel like these are really kind of dry and thick, and that was very loose and watery, so maybe it depends on the color. I don't know, I don't have Carmin in here, so I can't do a direct comparison between the pigments, although they're probably the same pigment. We could check. You're getting to see a true look into what I'm looking at when I'm like getting to know a new product. Where is it? Where is the information? Oh, there it is. Okay, this is a single pigment, PR170, and the primary red is PR170. So they're the same, they just have different names, but you can have 3 or 4 different pigments with the same pigment name. So that's not necessarily, super useful. Okay. I would like to label these. Where did I put my pencil? I'm just getting a new one. Okay. So we're going to say that this one, Carmin, and this is Holbein. I'm going to put HB. And sorry if you can't see that very well. Actually, it's showing up pretty well for me. So, and then Spectrum Red. And that was Winsor and Newtons. And I think I'm mixing these up. Today is not a great memory day, so those could be switched. And I will figure that out later. Okay, so we don't really have an orange. We'll just go on to yellow. And this one is single pigment, PY65. I really hope that that's all out. Mix my water here. It looks delicious. So that's a lot softer. Maybe there was more water in my brush. Maybe I didn't block my brush enough. But different pigments can be really different. So that went not quite as far as the Holbein. I'm going to look back and I'm going to be like, well, you didn't try to pull it all the way across the page, so that's why. But I don't remember already. So I don't remember what I did. This is, I love this color. I love that it's a single pigment. And it is Primary Yellow Deep. This was one of the ones that I was going to buy separately. By the way, I'm testing it on good paper so that I give it some fair to it. If I test it on paper I don't like, I might end up blaming the pigment. Okay, so there was some separation. And that is very watery. Some of the pigment was separated, so that makes sense. So I think this will go all the way. That's a very smooth feel. And it went all the way. But it's pretty watery from the pigment being separated. I also think I didn't wipe off my brush enough, so I'm going to try to remember to do that next time. But these all feel nice. I mean, that's the important thing. They feel nice. I'm not sure if they feel nicer than Holbein. I wouldn't say that. And I would say that so far I don't think that they feel as good as Umbria, but some pigment, some of the binder came out with this as well. So this is going to be kind of liquidy, but I will try to make sure that, okay. So I dried off my brush a lot, and even though some of the binders come out, I can already tell how thick this is. Yeah, I had trouble making it all the way. This is not very scientific, is it? No. Did you come here for science? Because you did. Yeah, not the right place for you. I think that they also have like a smell. The only paint that I've used that had a smell, and it really surprised me, was French watercolor, Sennelier watercolor. I was not expecting that because there's honey in it, so I thought it would smell good, like honey. And it kind of smelled chemically. So we're going to go for, I forgot to tell you, this is single pigment. Not that you necessarily care. 2 pigments, and this was single pigment. Oh, I remembered something. Okay, primary blue, single pigment, PB 115, and this one is probably not. PB 29. They're usually, this to me seems kind of like a green. I'm trying to get the words. That is not what I meant at all. It would be more green, and this one's more red, as far as like which way it leans. Okay, let's make sure we're not putting too much water in. There was no, I didn't see too much binder coming out. Wow, look at that. Okay, yeah. So I think that when I was doing that up there, that was probably what was happening, if I can remember correctly. Did I not put enough pigment? Did I not squeeze out enough? I mean, this is, I would call this stiff. I don't know. Okay. Each of them is behaving quite differently if we don't take into account user error. Okay, I've put a bigger blob. I'm going to try to scoop up the whole blob. Whole blob. So far this one went the furthest. And it does, it starts to feel like some drag once it gets dry enough. When there's like a ton of pigment on it, not so much. But once it, and I wouldn't say that it feels too different from Holbein, which is the entire point of me buying it. I like working with Holbein fine, and it's okay to have more than one brand. I guess it's just like, I really go by the use up your art supplies. Oh, we did have a green. I forgot about this green. Should I try to shove it in here so we're making a nice rainbow? Or just accept that getting a reminder. I originally had scheduled this for 6:30, and then I changed my mind and decided to do it at 6 because I want to finish and do some other things. So, but I guess I forgot to tell my phone reminders that, so I keep getting reminded to start my live 6:30. Okay, the binder really separated on this, and then I got distracted by my story, and now I've mixed in a whole bunch of water into this, so this isn't going to be a fair. Very, very moist, and we have just used up the entire. Oh my gosh, it has a really distinctive smell. It smells like candy. Am I just hungry? Okay, that's not what you're here for. It is not an offensive smell. So I am very easily stressed by too much of anything, too much sound, too much texture, too much whatever. So if you're like that, I'm here checking it for you and making sure that it is. I really am having trouble getting the green out of this. It's like I can see it in the bristles. I'm afraid that when I put it in this cup, it's going to contaminate it, and then I'm going to have to run away from the live and then go get more. Go get more water. Okay. Oh, that might have been the last sheet here. One of the reasons I wasn't feeling too sad about using this for something not more experimental, even though it's really nice paper, is that we're at the bottom and it's really warped. It's already warped, so if I wanted to make something really nice on it, I'd probably need to cut the paper down anyways. Okay, so we've got green. I've still got it right next to me for reference. I guess I could, no, you're not going to see it. We'll put it here, and then you could kind of see it. All right. Then prop it up. Oh, but then you can't, oh, you can't see this anyways. What can you see? What can you not see? Where am I supposed to be looking? Which camera? Okay. So we did the green, we've done the blues, and all we have left are the ivory black and the zinc white. The zinc white, the whites, I'm going to wait until this dries, and then I want to do it over them. So we only have, I was having like the impulse to shake it because the binder keeps coming out, but shaking does nothing. My Senneliers had serious problems. Sennelier watercolors had serious problems with the binder like completely coming out, and I ended up putting on the dryer, putting on top of the dryer when it was running to like hopefully shake it back into place. And putting a toothpick, no mold, so it has honey. I think I shoved a toothpick in it, which could have been introducing contamination, and so far no mold. They are much smaller tubes. But yeah, I really want to give M. Graham, the benefit of the doubt that there was something I did on my end, because I really like their paints. So nothing came out, no binder came out, and I feel like this is just not that much. Yeah, this is not going to go very far. I picked up as much as I could. Maybe I'm putting different amounts down. I don't know. Okay, so we're done with, so this is ivory black. And I didn't label the rest of these, but I'll go back and do that later, because that is just not that fun to watch. Watching paint dry is so much more fun. So this one, I'm excited to try this one out because it's Perylene Violet. It's a single pigment. Probably wouldn't have bought it if it wasn't. Oh, that is not what I was expecting at all. I was expecting brown. Almost. And this is very red. And a lot of the binder came out with it. And I've been able to pick up a lot in my brush. So I think it's going to go pretty far. Oh, that's kind of surprising results there. Okay. I mean, it's kind of smooth. It gets, you know, when it starts drying out, it gets kind of stuck. I don't really like that. Where did pizza go? We're going to try the flame red, which I should have tried next to the other reds. I think some binder came out, but I'm not really sure. Oh my gosh, my dog is licking it. No, Toffee. Toffee. Oh, no. Oh my gosh. She was just stepping in it. Like, this is why we don't do lives. This is why. What were you thinking? There must be honey in it. There's no other reason for this behavior. You see? It's all weird. She was looking at. Good to know. It looks delicious, apparently, to some people. Probably not a problem. I watered this down too much. Let's do it here. And then I'm going to put some more down and try to remember not to water it down because I don't think we're getting anything realistic because I'm thinking about the fact that my dog just ate the paint. I'm really distracted here. I'll have some to stay up here. I could ask them to help me. Let's try the brush first. Let's try that again. Yep. So me just trying this again and realizing how much difference it makes when you add just a little bit of water. Makes, you know, these experiments somewhat useless for as far as like seeing how far it stretches. Like if something else is stretching further, it probably is user there. Okay, last one, Viridian, and this is single pigment. And wow, I can't see where the pigment's listed. It's odd. They don't have it. They don't have that, like, it's right here. That sticker is missing from this, so. I can see the opacity, but I can't see what it's made out of. Okay, some of the binders coming out with it, a lot of the binders coming out with it. I really like Viridian for mixing. I don't usually use Viridian by itself. Some of the, wow, it's like chunky. Does it stay that way? Like if you get further down in the tube? Okay, I'm really having to mix it up here. Is this showing? Yeah, okay, good. The lighting's not great, but you can see what I'm doing here. Wow, there's a big chunk like on the top there. So far I'm liking the matte. It does some interesting things, like it pulls the pigment. Does something weird with water. Okay. I don't know why it's so chunky. That is it. That is, wow. Yeah, this is not what I was expecting from these paints. Okay. So, my choices are now get started on that bear or make a color wheel. And I think it would be, I'm not going to finish the bear, but I think it would be more interesting if I started on it because I really want to like have it kind of be a more real world experience, but I'm going to have to go change my water for that. This is for, so I'll be right back. Now, this will be more of a real world experience here. I got this brush recently. It's like angled, and I just am loving them. I like so much how you can use it as a point or use it like thicker. So I'm going to start with some more Perylene Violet, because what I did with this bear, maybe I should, I wish you could see it. I guess I could put, splash some water on it. Dirty water. It doesn't matter, we don't need this part, but like, I really like how this one turned out. Obviously, I've painted it more than once. This part here is brown, but I did mostly like a deep purple color. So, going to, I can't, I was gonna say I'll add the reference photo, but no, this is a live, I can't add the reference photo for you. Let's mix this with a little yellow. See what we get. That's very watered down. Black is such a no-no in watercolor that I kind of feel weird using black when it's not with any other medium. The way watercolor works is like the light shining through makes it look amazing, and if you use black, it's so opaque that you kind of ruin that. So here's what I'm still learning, is blending. I find blending really difficult, and this is in watercolor. Add more. Add more. Pop this. Okay. I'm trying so hard here to remember this isn't a watercolor. So blending is not super intuitive to me, and I'm not really sure what I'm doing. This is not a gouache class. Do not copy me, or you'll be maybe sad with the results. I feel like it's so dry. Is my house hotter than normal? I don't know. I feel like this layer is already dry. Now what's cool is like right here, there was some of the ochre there that maybe I don't want. But what's cool is like, I know I can just cover it up later. Yeah, so I'm not having the experience that I wanted to have. I want to have an experience of basically it feeling like watercolor. I mean, that's not what I meant. Like a thick oil paint, or I'm looking for a thick experience. Do not take that out of context. Do not cut that soundbite out and use it for something nefarious. I want it to be like kind of a heavy-bodied deal, and I feel like maybe gouache can't do that, but I have gotten it to kind of work with Holbein. I was just playing around the other day, so normally I wouldn't keep reworking an area like this, but I'm trying to get a feel for how it will blend. Normally I'd like kind of do the base layer of everywhere and then come back because that's how I work with watercolor. I think that's what I do. It's sometimes really hard to narrate the experience. I get in the flow, and honestly, like, if I wasn't recording right now and like really trying to pay attention to the fact that I'm recording and supposed to be narrating, I would just get lost in what I'm doing and forget. So sometimes it's hard for me to say if I'm actually, like, what I've actually done, and that's what's one thing that's really nice about recording, is that I can look back. I did not want to mix a light color. I didn't want to put a dark color into a light color. When I record myself, I can go back and kind of see what I did, and that's super helpful. Oh, that's what I did, because like in the moment, I can get so enraptured. Okay, so how much more time do we have? 10 minutes. Wish I could ask you what you want to see, but I don't think there's anybody here. And if there is, I'm so sorry. And I'm not using the software properly, and it didn't show up. So, if you're there screaming, look at the comment section. My comment section is empty. I'm just going to assume that other people had other things to do the week before Christmas on a Thursday night. But if I'm wrong, and there's somebody that has a lot of comments and is dying for me to answer them, I'm really sorry. I am using the software wrong, and yeah, this is really scratchy for brush, and I'm not enjoying that. I like that you can make a point, but I'm not having fun with that sound, so let's see what other, maybe I should get it wet first. You should always soak your brushes in water first, which I would normally automatically do, but I'm distracted because I am doing a live stream. I was saying something, and I don't remember what, and I'm sorry. I'll look back. I'm looking back over this and do like a better. Yeah, so anyway, sorry if you're commenting and asking questions and I'm not seeing you. I really struggled with the software to set this up. Struggled less than I thought I would, honestly. Things went a lot better. Like we're here. Like it's working. I think it's working. When I checked my phone, it said we were live. So I think it's working, but like I don't know how flawlessly. Okay, this is a little bit smoother. It's smooth if I do this, but if I do circles, which I think is how you blend, can anybody tell me? Okay, that makes me wish some more people would. Anybody tell me how you blend your gouache? Because I am not sure about my technique. Maybe you're not supposed to blend with a flat brush. Oh, soaking the brushes. You always want to soak your brushes. And here's why. You want to soak them in water before you start painting. When there are some fibers in this, I think this is a filbert. Something we're gonna. There's fibers in here. If you soak it in water, water will go into the fibers and go inside. If you just dip into the paint first, paint will get sucked up inside. And then when you're painting, maybe one day, a white swan, your Perylene violet will come coming out at some point when you use the brush later, at a later time. It's better to fill this with water than with paint. So Always let it fill with water first, which I'm normally very, very aware of. Oh, didn't drain the water out first. Okay, let's try a round brush and see how that feels. Ah, that's easy. That's good. It's already dry. How are other artists like mixing? I mean, it's not that hot. I guess the lights could be making a little bit hot in here, but I don't think so. It was already dried. I couldn't really mix it. It was a little ridiculous. That's not even what color the bear is right here. I just want to mix. I'll practice my mixing. A dark brown right there. So if I want to just use this ochre color, I can come up here. And let's see how long until it actually dries. I need more of a lighter yellow for this spot right here. All right, we've got 7 minutes. Oh, that's not my lightest yellow. This was, I love this one. This was one I would have bought if it didn't come in the set. I should tell you that, huh? That might be interesting to you. The ones that I would have bought in the set are the two yellows, the ultramarine, the white. I would not have gotten the green because it's too many different pigments, but if it didn't have, you know what? I think I bought another color. I'm just remembering. I bought like a turquoise because I always add turquoise to my paintings, and I like to have it as a convenience color to just have, so I'm not needing to mix the same color. So when you're making colors, it's really cool to mix lots and lots of different colors. But if I want it to be like a pretty standard color every time, it's really important for me that I have it. That's gonna dry because I'm just talking. You can see me getting increasingly distracted. So if you're watching this as a replay and you've stuck around this long, thank you. It's very nice of you. Okay, yeah, it's so dry. But we can re-wet it, right? Can we re-wet it? Not really. A little bit. Yeah, you see me getting in the zone here? And then I'm not going to talk anymore. I used to teach classes, watercolor classes, and I got pretty good at talking and painting at the same time, but it's been a really long time since I did them. So I apologize for improving the sound quality by being quiet. Because I know the sound quality is probably pretty bad. I will do better next time. Okay, so let's try, if we could do dark all around the edges there. Let's mix it with a little blue to make it even darker. Maybe I need more red. Nope, it was kind of red. What color do I need? I'm just making purple. Okay, too much water now. Let's try yellow. Oh no, we did have ochre in there. What am I doing wrong? Why am I making the wrong color? I forget how to color mix. I'm yapping away. Yeah, okay. That's not. It's very gloppy and kind of a mess. I am enjoying the experience of it moving. I'm liking that. But I feel like I am making a what not to do video about gouache. how you've learned. Actually, I have no idea. I have no idea if that's how you've learned gouache. I need to watch some more tutorials. A lot of times I like to not watch tutorials on things, even if I know I would get so much out of it, because sometimes I like to develop my own bad habits first, so that I kind of have my own way of doing things before I figure it out. Before I do it the way somebody else has figured out. And, you know, sometimes I just want to know how someone else did it. I feel like this is so dry. I feel like it doesn't go very far. But maybe I'm not giving it enough credit. Alright. I think I'm going to stop here. This is a good place to stop because it's just going to be pretty much dark from here on out. I mean, from this part right here, so like I don't really need to have blended here much. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to go make myself some dinner. And I really appreciate any of you who have stopped in. If you were here and I didn't see you, I'm sorry. And if you're rewatching this, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye. I'm going to have to walk